Hello and welcome to Flory Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got Ryfield Models' latest release. This is the 1/35th scale M1240A1 M-ATV MRAP all-terrain vehicle. And I have to say, it looks absolutely fantastic. This has got the full interior with this one as well, so it makes it a little bit special. Again, looking at the box, beautiful box art. I have to say, the box art just sells this totally, because not only is it showing you about the kit, obviously with full engine, full interior and everything else, but the artwork is just absolutely fantastic. Snowy scene as you can see it. So MRAP stands for Mine Resistant Ambush Protection. So you get the sort of V-shaped hull and all the rest of it, and what it really turns it into is like a fantastic Mad Max version. Okay, and they do look uber cool, I must admit, with this particular one. Anyway, some of the artwork around on this one, as you can see, you do get the full interior, so we've got the full engine down in there and obviously around the cab and some stowage in the back. We do get the ambush protection system, so the up armoured actually on the 50 cal on the top, and as you can see down in here, some of the gorgeous details that you'll be finding in the kit itself. Okay, kit number for this one is 5032, and as you can see, it is available from the PM store for a measly £58, which actually with a full interior is a bit of a bargain. Okay, some of the options down in there showing it in the green, and then obviously in the desert colours and the various things in there. So inside your box you are greeted with very nice loads. We've got a zippy bag there with tyres. They look quite nice, I must admit. We've got the actual main cab area. Lovely bit of photo etch. Two lots of photo etch. So lots of photo etch in there as well. So that looks very nice indeed. Clear parts, as you might expect. We've got the actual bonnet down in there, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lots of sprues, and we've got some vinyl for the actual mudguards, and we've got the decals on the back as well, so looking really nice. And as always, we'll start our way in the instruction. It looks like we've got a correction sheet straight off the bat, as you can see just down in there. Okay, so that's something to look out for. So over in here, starting. So as you can see, you do get quite a lot down with this one as well. As you say, we're just seeing those ones. Okay, so usual thing with this one, we are starting down in the transmission and under everything down in there. So we've got drive shaft and transmissions going in there, and then working with all the sort of various parts on the underside. So we've got the tow winch going down in here. Again, only if you're doing specific vehicles, obviously denoted in green. Okay, so we've got all the lower parts, as you might imagine, being full detail. Not only does that include detail of the actual inside the cab and the engine, it also includes all of the various details with all the running gear as well down on the actual chassis. So as you can imagine, you've got everything going down there, and then all the other plates and various things to be protecting the underside of the vehicle, which I assume a lot of this is going to be hidden anyway. As you can see, very much detail down here. It does look like it's calling out for no glue in various areas. So I'm thinking down in here we're actually going to have working steering, okay, or definitely movable steering and various things. Again, nice little touch. And again, some specific areas calling out for decal placement, things like that. And as you might imagine, there's a lot of detail down in this actual kit, okay. So various parts, as you imagine, going down in there. We've got the actual suspension system going in. Then we're straight into the actual engine as well. So we've got the engine system going down in there, and then all the various transmissions and various radiators are being added onto that one. All of that being fitted down onto the chassis, and then other bits being added for some of this up armour type stuff around with the bumpers and various things being added to that one, and then working its way around, as you might imagine. Then we've got various parts going in there, so we're looking, I assume, at a little bit of photo etch being done as well for adding extra details down under there, and then working its way around. Nice little note down in here calling out for the plumbing, just to show exactly where all that goes. Again, very technical, but quite straightforward laid out as it goes in there as well. Nice touch, okay. Then we've got wheels and hubs and tyres obviously being fitted down onto those. We'll have a good look at those in a moment. And then we're working our way up into the sort of cab area. So all the various parts of the seats, we've got the actual dashboard, the various, all these things being fitted down into this one, as you can imagine. And we're assuming down in here, this is all photo etch. So you're going to do a little bit of bending work, putting all of that around. Again, it does look absolutely fantastic. All right. Then obviously adding sort of rear bulkhead to this one. We've got the instrument panel, things like that being fitted down into this one, into the actual areas being fitted to the actual top of the cab. The doors, obviously fully up armoured doors, as you might imagine. We've got that beautiful system of the glass with that really thick glass system on there. Then we've got mirrors, again, photo etch, real highly detailed right the way through. Something we've come to expect with all the sort of Ryfield ones these days. And again, we are not disappointed. Again, more folding. So make sure you've got your benders out for this particular one. We've got the horns being fitted, the doors going down on there, and obviously doors open or closed depending on which version you want to do it with, okay? And then we've got all the glasswork being fitted in from the outside, right the way down to the actual windscreen wipers, you name it, it's on here. A lot of the communications and various equipment's being fitted to the outside, lights, various things you might imagine, lots of stuff. Then in case it's bringing it all together, so you've actually got the chassis being mated up with the actual cab area up on the top as that goes in. A few more hoses and connections being made, things like that, and then we're down into the mud guards and all the areas running down. And again, you haven't finished, there's a lot of stuff going down on this one, as you might imagine. So now we're working into the rear sections, so we're going through those areas, and again lots and lots of detail, making up the rear cab area, things like that going through. And then obviously the underside protection, so we've got that V-shaped hull system going down onto this one, side steps being added. Lots and lots of detail, I think you'll agree, right the way through. More bits and pieces being fitted down underneath here, and the various exhaust and muffler systems being fitted. Then it's up to the top, 50 cal, and again for the protection system for the top gunner with all the armoured glass and panels all around him, all being fitted. And then right the way down to the bonnet again, fitting all the various sections down onto there, and again various bits of photo etch and things going on there, as you can imagine. Again, beautifully done, so we can have it open or closed with all the parts on this one. Rear wheel being fitted, all the antennas, aerial, satellites, you name it, all the various bits and pieces being fitted down onto there. And then we've got the towing system on the front as well, and then depending on which versions you want to do, all your standard ones on there like that. And there you have it. Colour call-outs down all the way through here, calling out mid-colours, but pretty much standard for all of those to go right the way through. And then obviously on the outside, and then obviously you've got the green version on there as well for the Polish Special Forces. So it depends if you want to do the US one or the Polish one, just like that. That has to be one of the most detailed military vehicles I've ever seen like that. There's a lot of work down in there. As I said, you have got a correction sheet for a couple of little errors on here. Clearly they've been spotted. A lot of them are just number call-outs, okay? So it's literally just they've got the numbers round the wrong way. Straightforward job, just whip through there and grab them. So, where do we begin? Absolutely. So I'm impressed, very, very impressed. Tell you what, let's start with the photo etch. So as you can see down here on the photo etch, you've got all of that stuff. Yes, there is going to be a lot of bending and sorting out on this, and you don't have options to use either the plastic or the photo etch. It's photo etch or nothing. But in this type of scale and this type of equipment, it's going to work beautifully. Okay, so there's lots of stuff down in there, and we've got another one over here. If I get the glare off of it, sorry. Try and get rid of the glare. Okay, so as you can see, there's lots of various bits going down on there. Looks like you do have an option though, because we've got the rubber ones of these for the Oshkosh ones down the back here, or you can actually do it in the rubber version as well, depending on which way. If you want to go the vinyl or use the photo etch for that. But again, that's going to add a beautiful amount of detail down into your kit. We are using that one. Speaking of which, this is the option. So as you can see down here, you've got the vinyl for the actual ones. You can see that's the same, but in the actual vinyl there for the K. Decals, as you might imagine, they're very, very small, and it's the usual ones you might expect down in here for the engines and the bits and pieces all the way around it. Looking very nice, minimal carrier film with everything, so that actually looks very nice indeed. The glasswork, seeing as we're all here, as you can imagine, it's flat and it's crystal clear, as we always find with Ryefield. There's no distortion in any of that whatsoever, as you might expect, so that's absolutely beautiful. Right, tell you what, we'll do all the little bits first. Let's do tyres. Normally I do tyres last, so let's do tyres now. Those look very, very nice. I love this sort of stressed effect around the outside in here, which is probably from the moulding process more than actually is design, but it just works quite nicely. Okay, but again, nice thing with this one, the camera's struggling just a little bit, but you can see we don't have a seam line running right the way down the middle that you have to take care of. So that's actually really nice. They are seamless, and again, it actually does say Michelin on the tyres, which is quite nice as well, instead of some hybrid generic. And it's on both sides, so it is printed on both sides of the tyre instead of that standard on one side. So really nice. So obviously you get 5 of them in a little zippy bag, which is very nice indeed. Okay, so if we start in the top, and get into this. Okay, so again, Ryefield models, they are very fast becoming my armour place to go. Not only is it have straight off the bat in the plastic, it looks solid, it looks nice, you know, but also it's just the detailing, the sharpness, the crispness of the moulding is beautifully done. Okay, we do have a little injection port just at the top here, but that's a quick sand out, and it's a nice flat, easy to get to area as well. Okay, because it is one piece. Again, on the underside, the ejector pins are very, very faint. You can probably catch them in the light, but a couple of small little passes with the sanding stick and they'll be gone. Also, again, they are located out of the way of any surface detail. So this gearing and the actual bolts holding the actual top ring on around here for the gun platform, it's easy to get to. It's not a problem. It's not like they're right up against it and you might damage the detail, things like that. There's obviously a little bit of forethought gone into this. Again, looks absolutely fantastic, all of it. Very, very hard to find a fault anywhere on this one. So again, so there we go. That's the actual main cab area with that. That's actually beautifully done. So whilst we've got the little ones out, let's have a look at the bonnet. And again, beautifully one-piece cast. There is, again, ejector pins in here, but they are so fine. They are just slightly raised in most cases around the edge. And I think literally half a rub with a fine sanding stick, they're gone. So it's very, very easy to take place. But again, there's no big mould lines or seams and things like that in there. Very clever one-piece injection moulded. And again, looking at the bolts and the details all on the front of this, it's got that good solid look to it. Very, very nice texture from the mould right off the bat. So actually we do like that very much indeed. Okay, right, so into some more of the bigger stuff. So you can work your way in here. Big old crinkly bag. So down in here we've got some of the chassis and things like that. So this is sprue F, as you can see, looking very, very nice. First impressions. Beautiful, typical Riffield. Very much flashy on the sprue, not on the part, which is very, very nice indeed. So if we can probably go this way, as you can see, for the actual chassis itself with all the details, looking very, very nice indeed. Again, it's just incredible detail up here, where you've got these bolts and this areas all around here. As you can see, it's beautifully moulded, very, very nicely done. And then again, working our way down, we've actually got some checker plate for the floor, looks very, very good. Okay, and then we've actually got these areas down in here for the suspensions and the steerings, and all these areas actually looking very, very nice indeed. And again, we're talking about a little bit of flash on the sprues, but again, can't really see anything on the actual parts themselves. They are pretty much devoid of all flash or anything else. And the smaller parts, you can see these little tiny sprues holding them on. Again, they're not huge big sprue gates on all of this. They're just about right, I would say, nicely in scale. Okay, we've got a tiniest little bit of flash there, but again, watch, and we can probably, he says, I think it is just a case of, there we go, flash has gone. That's how good this is. So again, reverse side, nice little touch like this guy down in here. No ejector pins on both parts of it because it is detailed on both parts. Things that aren't, and you're not going to see it, like inside here, have got ejector pins in them. So it is that thing. If it's going to be seen, it doesn't have any. If it's not, it does. Okay, so nice, nice touch with all of that down in there. Okay, this one here, because it is generic, so we got two of them. So we just pop these out of the way. Okay, so this is sprue C, as you can see down on here. Again, a lot of the smaller parts. There is a little bit of burring on some of these parts. So these shocks here have got a little bit of burring in them, but the rest of it looks pretty good. Got a tiny little bit of flash just around here. The flash is so thin though, it just rubs off. Okay, so that's quite nice. So just starting up here, as I say, you can see on the wheel hubs, things like that. We've got the seats looking very, very nice. We've got all the, again, various running gear parts on the underside, all the small stuff. There is a little bit of burring on these, but again, a couple of swipes with a deburring tool or a sanding stick will get rid of those, no problem at all. But again, these finer details, beautifully done. These eyelets down in here and towing brackets and things like that, beautifully done, even in the smaller scales. Like these little guys down in here, beautifully moulded in something so small. So very, very nicely done indeed. And working up the other side, see the transmission area, things like that, very nice. One touch might have been nice is to have real springs. These are actual real springs, but they're in plastic. You can see daylight through them. So they are workable, but they're in plastic. It might have been just as easy, and they do work as well because I can squish it. But it would have been nice perhaps if they were in metal. But again, probably just being a little bit picky there. Okay, but I think it just might have been just a little bit of a nice touch. But they do actually work, weirdly enough. So clever injection moulding that you've got a spring that's injection moulded and works. Again, tiny little bit of flash just around these bits, but really, really being picky. And again, on the blind side, very, very nicely done. That is quite clever. I have to give them that. That being, I thought that was going to be solid, but it actually does squish and it works. So very, very nicely done. Again, you get 2 of those. Okay, next up we've got some more running gear. As you might imagine, there's a lot of running gear in this. So again, there's all the bits on the other side. So this is sprue E. Again, looking very, very nice indeed. And then again, if we probably run it from the side, you can see all various transmission and all the things. Again, there's a tiny little bit of bearing flash just on like this drive shaft down in here. You can probably see it. But again, that's just being very picky. Engine block itself does look incredibly nice. That's very, very, and to be honest, it's really sharp, which means good detail on that one as well. So that's really very, very nice indeed. And again, we've got the belts off the engine going to various places. That is very, very nice. And on the blind side, same thing again. If it's seen from the other side, there's no ejector pins. If it's got other things you can do. So down in here, these are going to need just to be flicked off, but they are literally a case of flicking them off. Okay, they usually just wiggle free and pop off. All right. So again, that's the only thing with those. Very nice. Okay. So down in some of the protection system for the anti-mine system, or mine resistant, I should say. Again, good. It's funny plastic, it's weird, it's really nice. It shouldn't be as sharp as it feels. But anyway, sprue A, as we can see just down in here, that looks very, very nice. Again, just working up here, you can see the various parts and the details on them. Beautifully done. Right the way through. Again, a little bit of bearing just down here on the muffler. Rest of it's absolutely fine. And then obviously there's that V-plate for the underside with the side steps. Working your way up to the wheel arches, things like that. And some of the areas around the rear. Again, that's all very, very nice indeed. Again, the ejector pins are so fine. On areas where you might see it, they are literally just a couple of little tiny bits. Other areas, they're quite pronounced, but you're not going to see them, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so it is, somebody is thinking about it, which is a nice touch. Okay, so some of the door, sorry, this is the up armour for the turret on the top for the 50 cal. And the various parts that are going to go along with that. So, sprue D. Very, very nice. And again, we can almost do it just on the side here, as you can see. Beautifully done. No problem with any of that at all. It'd be interesting to see. And again, managed to do it. In here where it will be seen, these armour plates here, there is no ejector pins on the inside. So again, very, very nicely done. It is thinking about where they're placed instead of just thinking, well, that's how we get it out of the mould. Again, nice touch with that. So yes, very nice. Okay, doors and things. And the armour glass panels and those types of things. Here we are on sprue B. Again, very, very nice. So having a look around, you can see those doors. Various smaller parts down the bottom. These are these glass panels which you'll be doing, and the various other areas down on here. Again, more glass panels with a good bolting system all being shown down in there. Very nice indeed. And on the blind side, again, because these will be seen, no ejector pins, the rest of it clean, sharp, nicely done. Okay, 2 little ones. So, okay, sprue O. We've got some of the stowage, 50 cal stuff, 50 cals themselves, and all the various items. So you can probably see it straight off the bat on here. Beautifully done. Very, very nicely done with the jerry cans, the ammunition cans, the 50 cal up here at the top looks very nice. Right the way through with all of that. And then on the blind sides, as I say, most of this is going to be hidden away, but like this area won't. So as you can see, no ejector pins. 50 cal looks very nice. That's actually very nice indeed. Okay, last up we have Sprue G. Okay, so Sprue G, you can see we've got some of the loom type areas, things like that for hoses and wiring. We've got steering, we've got some car 15s, things like that. Very nice indeed. Again, beautifully done. Very, very clean, sharp mouldings on those. Nicely done. I have to say, Ryefield Models have done it again. Let's face it, I fell in love with their Sherman a few weeks ago, and I did that purely because of the texture with the sort of the casting on the turret, and it's tiny, smaller details like that, which I absolutely love. And this is exactly the same. I love the texture. It almost has that look, without being painted or weathered, of how you'd expect it to be in plastic, which I think that's always a good clue. It's going to work quite well further on down the line. It is going to be quite complicated. This isn't going to be a shake and bake and it's going to be done. You have got a lot of work in front of you. But honestly, if you do want to have something like this with all of the various gear onto it, and then obviously you can add your stuff to it, so you can add stowage, some figures, a little diorama, that is going to be your ultimate sort of MRAP vehicle at the end of the day. As a bit of a fan of all the MRAP series, all the up-armoured vehicles, like I say, this has to be my favourite today. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and I think it's going to be making its way to my stash. Anyway, that's it from me. That's the Ryefield Models 1/35 scale M1240A1 MRAP.